Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. So much going on, so much to talk about. This Letitia James trial in New York has been going on. And I want to talk a few things about it. The judge and the clerk, all right, if you look at the gag orders that keeps putting against Trump, he's always talking about the clerk. The clerk. And all judges have clerks, but they don't normally sit next to them like Archie and Edith Bunker. And not only not only do they sit strangely close to one another, she keeps whispering in his ear constantly during the proceedings. And I got to tell you, they look like a couple and they act like a couple.
Absolutely.
And I don't know what their marital situations are or anything like this, but what just because someone's a judge doesn't mean that they're the lord of the manor and can get away with anything. There's still laws and ethics that they must abide by.
In fact, the other judge her gag order was overturned by the appellate court.
Yeah.
So, you're right. There are other courts. Trump knows the system better than anybody.
Well, even judges,
he's lived his whole career in the court system.
Even judges have to answer to senior judges. There's like chief judges. It depends on where you're at, but there are senior judges that oversee them. I know a guy who Steve Kane and I have known for many years. He was a judge for about 5 minutes. He was an attorney, and he became a judge, and he behaved inappropriately as a judge with some things he was doing.
Yeah.
And not only was he removed from the bench, he was disbarred, and he can no longer practice law. And he was a sitting judge here in Florida. And, so the way this judge is carrying himself with the clerk is inappropriate. In fact, it seems as if she's the judge. And today, a lot's come out with this Letitia James. We'll go through some of the details of what happened in the courtroom today. But today I did something that was just, I thought pretty cool. And I'm just going to brag on it a little bit. So, I'm sorry, guys. I know if you were watching my live stream this morning, you saw it. So over the weekend, I did a YouTube video. It's on my YouTube channel, Brian Craig Show on YouTube. I had found out somebody that commented on one of my YouTube videos just happened to mention in passing that Letitia James is a millionaire. And I thought, that's interesting. Because I don't know too much about Letitia James other than she's a corrupt public official who was prosecuting innocent people for her own selfish political gain. So I looked up I just Googled her net worth, and her net worth is $15 million. I'm like, wow, what kind of line of work is she in? So I looked up her whole background. To the best I could tell, she's never been married. And she does not come from a wealthy family. She comes from a working class family. And she has not had a job in the private sector. Her first job, she went to Howard University's law school, was with legal aid. And that's the closest to the private sector she's ever been. Mm-hmm. She's worked for either the city or the state government of New York her entire career without any gaps in her resume. So I was very interested to find out how someone who does not come from wealth, doesn't have a rich spouse, and has done nothing but work for the government, become a millionairess 15 times over. And I don't think anybody had really thought about that too much. People don't focus in on her too much. So I did that YouTube video over the weekend, and it was still rubbing me the wrong way. And if you go and watch my YouTube video...
And she's not, old.
She's older than she looks.
She's made a lot of money.
She's in her 60s, believe it or not.
You're joking.
Yeah, she's in her 60s.
Black don't cry. That's what Emily always says.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm pretty sure she's in her 60s.
That's very true then, because she looks good.
But anyway, I made a YouTube video detailing her entire resume, trying to figure out how she made the $15 million. And you should go and check it out. It's a very good video. And then afterwards, after I did that, it was a live stream on YouTube. It's still bugging me because I just don't think anyone had really thought too much about her being worth $15 million and how she made it. And it's relevant because she had Don Jr. on the stand last week, Eric Trump today, President Trump on Wednesday. She's got Ivanka, and she's questioning their money, how they made their money, all this stuff, their value of their companies and properties, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it's more relevant than ever to find out how she made $15 million. Now, maybe she did it completely legitimately. And if she did, God bless her, and that's amazing. I'd like to know how she did it, because if someone who does nothing but work for the government their entire life makes $15 million legitimately on the side, I'd like to know how that side hustle works, because I'd like to replicate it. But I think there's something fishy going on here, more likely. And since no one had considered this, and I had done some research through news stories about this over the weekend, and no one's really written about it, not in a questioning way. There's been some mentions that she's got investments and things and such, whatever. And I wanted to get this information to President Trump in the Trump campaign, okay? And I really did in the worst way. So I arranged to have a senior advisor of President Trump's who speaks to him pretty much daily on the program today, and that's Dick Morris. And I didn't talk to Dick Morris about it during the interview, but Dick Morris and his team were listening to the program before he went on. In fact, I knew they were listening. So I went into detail on the program, taking live calls, talking about the $15 million that she's worth, Letitia James, knowing that they were listening so they would hear it. And I got a confirmation after the interview with Dick Morris that his people heard it. And they're going to pass this along, and I'm sure it's already been passed on. And so if you hear anything out of the Trump orbit about the net worth of Letitia James, it originated with me, because that's how I got. Now, I was telling Kathy after, I said, well, what a lot of people would do is they would spend all week making phone calls trying to get to somebody to tell Trump about it. And I thought I did it in a little bit smarter way. I got it to him quickly, directly, and I hope I've played done a little bit of public service to save our nation in exposing this con woman, Letitia James. But what she's doing, in her case, is taking front and center because it's actually going on right now. The other ones were not in trial yet and things like this. So, this one's ongoing today, and we've had all this testimony, and it's ongoing throughout the week. Everyone in the world knows how Donald Trump made his money. All his real estate work, his resorts, he made $250,000, over $250,000. That's cigar money for Trump. He made over $250 million with a B just off The Apprentice by the time he was running in 2015. I remember when he did his financial disclosures, when he ran for president the first time, he made $250 million off The Apprentice. That's $250 million with a B dollars, just off The Apprentice, right? That was just like a hobby. So everyone knows how Donald Trump made his money. And to question his worth and his wealth and the value of things, it is what it is. And President Trump's attorney came out of the courtroom today, and she's good. I know she's really pretty and everything, and she dresses all sexy, and all this stuff. And, she
can be smart and pretty at the same time. Is that a anomaly to you? At
the level that she is at, it's not as common as you might think.
Trump only hires beautiful women. Don't you get this by now?
She's like a fembot. She's brilliant. And
he usually hires good-looking people. He's really into appearances, and he always talks about people saying they're right out of central casting.
Yes.
That's something he's very into the visual. That's just the kind of guy he is. So I think he takes that into consideration, man or woman, that they look nice, they're well put together. I think that's important to him.
Well,
she's on TV, so it's very important.
She looks like an attorney that you would see like on a television show, who's like this really super sexy attorney, and she's doing everything. But
or like an actress playing an attorney.
Yeah, but that's scripted. She's like the real deal.
Yeah.
So I don't think there are many female attorneys at the level that she's at that are as good as she is, and with the looks too. She came out. Did you see her press conference today?
Yep.
And she was brilliant. And one thing she said, she said Letitia James would not be the attorney general if it was not for Trump. Because remember, she was going to run for governor, and she was a loser. She couldn't run against Governor Cuomo because nobody liked her. So she did this thing about arresting Trump and putting Trump on trial, and she got made the attorney general of New York over that. And then what did she do? She got Cuomo out of office, right? The guy she couldn't beat and couldn't run against.
What did she say about Trump? That he's too white, too
white.
She made some comment.
How much white is okay to her?
That he's pale, stale, something like that.
Really?
That's
racist.
Definitely does not like white men. She's definitely.
That's why Trump calls her racist all the time.
Yeah, and she went after him after Cuomo. I'll see if I can find it.
Okay, Kathy pulled this up. I'm in shock. I've never heard this before. You know, President Trump calls Letitia James racist all the time, and I did not realize why this clip is why he calls her racist every time he mentions her name. This is insane. This is one of the most racist things I think a public official has said on television since television has been in color. This is how like the white Democrats used to talk during black and white television that were opposed to immigration.
Wallace.
Yeah, George Wallace.
She's like the female black version of George Wallace.
That's right, of the 21st century.
Yeah.
This is crazy. Listen to this.
Stand up to an administration which is too male, too pale, and too stale.
Too pale.
That means white.
Yeah, how
not dark enough.
Well, what
That's like you.
shade of
And me,
pale?
we're too pale.
Well, we're in Florida. We have some sun.
No, she
A
means
little bit of
white
sun.
people, not a person of color.
It's too pale.
Too male,
Yeah.
too pale, and too stale.
Well, that's racist.
You think?
How can someone be too pale?
She means white.
I know what
They're
she
not,
means.
They're not. That's what she means. They're too white.
Kathy, text me that because I'm going to play that on the radio
I should
tomorrow.
get paid to be a producer because I find good stuff for you.
Yeah, Kathy does find a lot of my best stuff.
This is why, I do.
I can't,
You think I just sit at home all day doing nothing? I'm always looking for stuff for you to do.
I don't think
on
that.
The show.
I don't think that.
Okay, good.
I'm at home with you most. I work from home mostly.
I know.
Okay? We got a home studio. I do
I
almost
know.
all my work from home. I do. The only part of
We work a lot.
The only part of my work I don't do at home is when I'm on the radio in the mornings. I do everything else pretty much at home. Except I do have business meetings and such.
Well, you get up really early.
Oh, my
Get up-
goodness.
Now that you are working up 45 minutes, it took you so long to get home today.
90 minutes. Traffic
You
jam.
get up earlier than ever. Used to work 10 minutes from the house. Now it's like an hour drive. It's awful.
I make it up for all the years I was 10 minutes from the house. But, that's astounding because I'm going to tell you, I never heard that before.
Yeah.
And I think I'm pretty up to speed on the news. And the reason I've not heard that before is not out of my incompetence because I think I'm about as informed as someone could be. There's a suppression of news and information that doesn't fit the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
And that right there should trigger a process of her to be removed from office as the attorney general. If she's so sexist and racist to think that people can be too white and too male to do something,
Yep.
how could she be the chief law enforcement officer for the state of New
Apparently
York?
she is, so.
I mean, that's some hardcore racism right there.
Yeah, it shows you that that's who she's targeting.
I've never heard
White
something
men
like that.
in positions of power.
Kathy, I've never heard someone. This is. It's not that I
But
haven't.
they'll tell you that she can't be a racist because she's black. But anybody can be a racist. You don't have. It's not exclusive to a certain group.
This is astounding to me, and I don't say this just because I've not heard that before. I say it because that is the most racist thing that an elected official has said on television in about 50 or 60 years in this country, maybe longer. I don't know. When did who was the Democrat that said segregation now? Was that George Wallace?
I think.
When did he say that segregation now, segregation
Maybe
forever?
the late 50s.
That is the equivalent of that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's the equivalent of that.
Yeah. Could you imagine if it was a white woman or a white man saying something
too black,
too dark, too whatever, it would be wrong, of course. I mean, this is why I don't like Democrats. They call this is what I don't like Democrats. They call us bigots.
Yeah.
When was the last time you heard anybody who's white, public person, make any kind of comment that's racist? They're the ones who make all the racist, nasty comments.
Did you text me that audio?
Yeah.
See, now you guys listening to the podcast are getting behind the scenes to tomorrow's program because that audio that Kathy gave me that I just played, that's going to be a big part of tomorrow morning's show. But this is amazing to me. I will say there is a white person who's talked that way and got away with it and went for Joe Biden about Obama, right? Yeah. Right. But that comment that she made, it's not funny and it's not cute. It's not just sexist. It's hardcore, ugly racism. And for somebody to talk that way and
She's
think
like
that
Joy
way.
Reid. She hates white men.
Well, but
Just
Joy
absolutely hates white people, but especially white men.
Joy Reid, though, is not in a position to arrest people and to sue people.
No, but she has a platform.
Yes, but Letitia James she is the top cop in New York State. That's a big deal.
There's definitely an abuse of power
and if she thinks,
going on here.
That's right. And if she thinks there's such a thing as somebody being too white and people that are too pale should be punished for things, she should not be able to hold a job like that. That's a problem. And that's crazy. Now, I want to tell you guys, we're in the Christmas shopping season, and the Thomas Edison of sleep, Mike Lindell, the inventor of the MyPillow, has incredible specials going on. But he has what I call special specials, the deeply discounted items at MyPillow.com with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, of course. If you go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio podcast section, there are huge sales, including the MyPillow Mattress Topper 2.0. It's a 3-inch mattress topper, and it's a major upgrade on the previous mattress topper. It has temperature regulating technology. It perfectly regulates your entire body temperature all night long. Just like the MyPillow 2.0 does for your head, neck, and face, this does it for your entire body. So during the summer, you're the perfect temperature. During the winter, you're the perfect temperature. It's absolutely amazing. It's 50% off with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. And you know what? It comes in a perfect package for wrapping. It makes a great Christmas gift. The MyPillow Mattress Topper 2.0. You can have it mailed directly to the recipient, and it comes in every mattress size. Also, the MyPillow My Slippers are $100 off with our promo code Kane at checkout. Less than $40 a pair. They make great Christmas gifts, too. But again, you can use our promo code Kane, Kane, at checkout on all the specials at MyPillow.com, not just the ones I highlight, okay? But when you use our promo code Kane, you're supporting Mike Lindell, the great people that work at MyPillow, and this program and all the content I'm connected to. Promo code Kane, Kane, at checkout at MyPillow.com. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll take a quick break and be right back.
This Christmas, give the gift of creativity, imagination, and endless fun with B-Blocks Building Blocks, available on Amazon. B-Blocks Building Blocks isn't just a fun gift, but it's educational too. It's a STEM toy of 500 pieces. That's right, 500 pieces to ignite your little one's creativity. Children will be introduced to a world of colors, shapes, and designs. They'll learn to play and create with 8 vibrant colors. From enhancing fine motor skills to exploring basic geometry and architecture, B-Blocks Building Blocks is fun and a powerful learning tool. And they click securely together, too. They're safe and cool, perfect for boys and girls. And this is a gift they'll cherish for years to come. B-Blocks Building Blocks are available in the B-Blocks store on Amazon. Just search B-Blocks, B-E-B-L-O-X. B-Blocks Building Blocks, because every child deserves the best. Only in the B-Blocks store on Amazon. Order your child's set right now. Are you ready to take control of your life, break free from bad habits, and embrace a future filled with purpose? Then order your copy of the new book from author Shannon Shibia, A Christian Self-Mastery Guide to Start Good Habits That Stick in 10 Weeks. Available on Amazon. In this must-read and life-changing book, you'll discover the secrets to starting new habits that truly stick and find the motivation you need to finally overcome those persistent bad habits. This guide is your compass that will lead you out of the darkness of self-defeating behaviors and towards a life filled with purpose and fulfillment. A Christian Self-Mastery Guide to Start Good Habits That Stick in 10 Weeks is your step-by-step habit reversal training workbook that's rooted in faith and personal development. It's filled with practical principles from God's Word, effective Bible study techniques, time management strategies, and make it a habit notes to track your progress. You'll learn how to break free from bad habits and create a routine that brings peace and purpose to your life. It's time to unlock your potential with God's help and these simple tools. Take that first step towards becoming the master of your destiny and order your copy of A Christian Self-Mastery Guide to Start Good Habits That Stick in 10 Weeks from author Shannon Shibia. Available on Amazon in Kindle and paperback. From author Joshua Whelan comes a book that will challenge your beliefs and ignite your curiosity. The Departure, available on Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com, and Audible. Centuries ago, Earth's citizens, except for true Christians, Muslims, and Buddhists, left the planet believing the sun was dying. But here's the twist. After 4 long centuries, Earth is rediscovered, and its inhabitants are thriving. This leaves the Galactic Federation puzzled. Were the scientists wrong, or were they deceived? Arliss Mars of the planet Washington is on a quest to unravel the mysteries of the cult. But when thousands vanish, all belonging to the cult, doubt creeps in. Could they be onto something? Alfra's world is turned upside down when her sister disappears after converting to Christianity. Will she uncover the hidden truths that she's been shielded from all her life? Can she escape her oppressive husband and embrace her newfound faith? A new tyrant seizes control of the Federation, demanding godlike worship. Will the resistance rise against this tyranny, or will they falter in the face of oppression? As evidence of the Christian faith reveals the truth of the Bible, the world is forced to reckon with its reality. How many will turn to him, and how many will turn away? Find out when you read The Departure from author Joshua Whelan, a thought-provoking journey that challenges beliefs, ignites faith, and unveils hidden truths. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Audible. Order your copy right now and begin an epic adventure of faith, discovery, and transformation.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in.
And she said that like last week.
No.
It's October 25th. That was when she was
sure
at
that's 23?
10/25/23.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Wow. I thought that audio
it's not an old clip.
I thought that audio might have been when she was running for office or something.
Yeah.
Oh
Nope.
my goodness. Wow. So the judge today, see, something big happened in the courtroom. President Trump took the stand and the judge hates him. And the judge said this: I'm not here to hear what he has to say. He can't even say his name.
No, he's like Voldemort.
Yeah, that's right. He can't even say his name. His name's President Trump, jerk, okay?
These people, I mean, how can Trump get a fair trial when this judge can't even let his name pass through his mouth and his lips? I mean, how is that fair?
Yeah. He said, I'm not here to hear what he has to say. He's here to answer questions.
He's so afraid of Trump. I bet he won't even look him in the eye.
Yeah.
In the courtroom. He is so afraid of him. Mm-hmm. Having this judge is desperate to throw him out of court because Trump being there has rattled him so much. Like, he's the kind of snowflake guy that just being in the same room with Trump, it's like he needs to be medicated to handle it. Like, he's probably shaking literally all day, and he can't wait to throw. That's what he wants to do is to throw him out of the court. He's already threatened it now.
Here's the thing. We were talking. I had a meeting I had to go to, a business thing I had to go through to today, and you and I were talking in the car on my way home to do the podcast. And Trump keeps violating the gag order that this creepy judge put, and the judge only pushes so far and hasn't ordered him to jail. And you had said, Kathy, that the reason the judge hasn't sent him to jail is he knows the Secret Service will not allow it.
I think so. I think this is proving that Trump will never step foot inside of a jail cell, because I think this judge would like nothing more than to be the one to throw Trump in jail. He would be a hero of the left, absolute hero. But I don't think the Secret Service will ever allow Trump to go. And I think Trump knows this, and that's why he's being so bold about everything. So let him run the country with an ankle bracelet. Who cares?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I think that'd be cool.
I don't think he'd give a
President
damn.
ankle bracelet. I think Trump would like that.
It'll become a new fashion accessory.
Yeah, he'd make a joke out of it. Yeah, we'd all be wearing ankle bracelets.
It'll become a trend.
I'd start wearing one.
Oh my God.
We'll start.
They'll have red ones that say MAGA on the side.
Yeah.
We could start making them like the Mighty MAGA Lion.
Yeah, we'll sell them on our store, our MAGA merch store.
There you go.
So here's a new article updated on the courtroom. Donald Trump's attorney, Alina Habba, called the judge unhinged for slamming the table during President Trump's testimony and yelling at her to sit down.
Wow.
Now, I know some people are going to tell me, I know we got a lot of snarky people in the audience. I'm going to get comments saying there are other good-looking female lawyers, and they'll say like Megyn Kelly. Alina Habba, she's like doing it. There's a lot of people like Megyn Kelly that are attorneys. You ever see her in court?
No.
There's a lot of people on television that do news
that are lawyers. Absolutely.
But she's like arguing like she's like Johnny Cochran.
Yep.
In this court.
Boy, I wish this was being televised.
It should be.
I mean, this should be televised, and it would be amazing. And you better believe if it was being televised, Trump would be there every day.
Oh, it'd be beautiful.
He would be there every day.
So let me read through this article. Donald Trump's attorney, Alina Habba, called the judge unhinged for slamming the table during President Trump's testimony and yelling at her to sit down. In an impassioned defense of her client outside court, Habba claimed the judge believed Trump committed fraud before we even walked into this courtroom. Well, wait a minute.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
So he's already made up his mind before all the evidence has been heard, before all the testimony has happened?
Yes.
That right there should be a mistrial because the judge is admitting that he has already come up with his judgment. Trump is accused in the $250 million civil fraud trial in New York of inflating his net worth and property values. During a break, Habba stood outside the building and described the judge's face going red when Trump was on the witness stand.
Oh, so I'm saying that means he was like 5 feet away from him. I mean, he must have been just ready to have a complete heart attack.
I wonder if he was.
I mean, just being in the same.
Was he angry or scared?
Air.
Was he angry or scared?
Scared. Obviously,
scared
that's fear. I mean, just being 5 feet away from Trump was probably too much for him to even handle. It just totally triggered him.
President Trump. I mean, it takes a guy that's got some guts to stand up to a president of the United States, and
especially Trump, and
someone who's a man's man like Donald Trump. And
I
this
don't know
judge
if that's
can't
Judge
do it.
Drakes, but I promise you, he's going to have a few tonight.
Yeah. Let's see here. Habba accused the judge of wanting to silence Trump during his answers to questions on his business empire and the value of Mar-a-Lago. Why exactly am I being paid as an attorney, and why exactly are taxpayer dollars being used in the courtroom? Habba fumed as she claimed the judge had already jumped to conclusions. She also accused Attorney General Letitia James of trying to make a name for herself by calling Trump a liar and going after him. Habba then recounted the moment she was scolded by the judge during a tense opening to President Trump's testimony. You have a right to hire a lawyer who can stand up and say something when they see something wrong, she said, but I was told to sit down today. I was yelled at, and I've had a judge who is unhinged slamming a table. So the judge doesn't think that Trump should be allowed to speak. He should not have lawyers speaking for him. He should just be convicted, I guess.
Brian, they arrest his lawyers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is what we're dealing with here in this country.
See, Abba, she is amazing. And she says, I don't tolerate that in my life. I'm not going to tolerate it here. And you know what? You shouldn't either. She added, I'm seeing such a demise of the American judicial system and democracy. The judge doesn't like when President Trump explains what actually happened because it's not good for his narrative.
Well, he doesn't want it in the public record. He doesn't want the stenographer to put that in the record because his ruling, which he's already decided upon, is not going to go well with the evidence. So he's trying to keep the evidence from being reported.
John Roberts said
for the
today,
testimony,
because I did watch. I was in the car listening to her press conference on television. It was on Fox, so I had Fox on in the car, and they came back after she was done talking after this. And John Roberts said, whatever her hourly rate is, it should be doubled.
Yeah,
she's that good. And I predicted throughout all of this that the judge and Letitia James, they're going to be tossed out of office, and one or both of them are going to end up disbarred, maybe even in jail.
I think so.
And the way the judge is acting here, you can get away with this in some high-profile case that nobody's following. But this is a whole different deal.
We need somebody higher than him to step in and you know, and observe and see what's going on. And intervene, maybe.
Yeah, she went on to say, the judge clearly has an issue, and if you've seen his behavior with me, his behavior with the president today, he has a clear issue with facts that are not good for his case. Like he's got a case, right? He's acting as if he's the prosecutor, not the judge.
That's exactly right.
And the judge, is clearly enraged. His face is red. He came in hot, and he doesn't know how to handle Trump.
He is so triggered that Trump is in the room. He's a total snowflake. He cannot take it. And having him so close to him on the witness stand,
He's triggered.
is too much for him to handle.
He can't handle
obviously.
it. He's triggered.
Judges, I've watched a lot of court TV and stuff. Judges look bored.
Yeah.
Okay? When they're sitting there, other than Judge Judy, but that's a TV show. When you watch a real trial, judges sit there half asleep. I'm not saying they're not listening, but they don't get emotionally involved. They just listen. And they might say, sustained, overruled. That's about it. You know what I mean? But you don't see them yelling and screaming and kicking and ranting and raving. Yeah. Hardly ever. They're usually very calm people that just sit there and listen all day long. And then they pass their judgment.
Habba spoke moments after Trump delivered another series of blistering attacks on Letitia James and the judge in a very combative testimony. The furious 77-year-old singled out Letitia James, who was sitting in the front row of the court, and accused her of being a political hack who brought the case against him to help her failed bid to become the next governor of New York. President Trump went on to say that Brian Craig had pointed out that she made... No, I wish. Trump became animated. This is the Daily Mail I'm reading from, so this is their description.
He's always animated, Trump. When is he not animated?
There really should be cameras in this courtroom. I think the American people need to see this, but, Trump became animated and audibly frustrated as he attacked Letitia James and the judge during confrontations about the property values and net worth he is accused of inflating by billions. The frontrunner in the Republican presidential race also pointed at the judge and berated him, the judge, for calling him a fraud, even though he didn't know anything about me. So President Trump's on the witness stand. This is beautiful stuff. We didn't get to see.
Oh, man, I wish we could see
and
this.
He looked at the judge and pointed at him when he's in the witness stand. That's beautiful. This is amazing.
Got to be driving that judge nuts.
Trump told the court, and as he's pointing at the judge, said, I'm a fraud because I didn't value my property correctly. He's the one who didn't rule my property correctly. The former president also claimed the true fraud was on behalf of the court and insisted he is worth billions of dollars more than outlined in the financial statements at the heart of the case. He's accused of having inflated his net worth by as much as $6.3 billion, whatever. Confrontations dominated parts of Trump's testimony as he discussed the value of Mar-a-Lago and again tore into the people who had brought the case up against him. And, I did a video 2 weeks ago. It's on my YouTube channel, Sunrise at Mar-a-Lago. And I watched the sunrise at Mar-a-Lago. And then I walk around Mar-a-Lago. And it was a live stream on YouTube. And people in the live stream, you guys can go and watch the video. People that had not seen me tour Mar-a-Lago before, they were just blown away at how big it is.
It's huge.
It's massive, and people don't realize how big it is. You
got to realize Florida property, especially oceanfront property. I mean, they have a private beach is extremely, extremely expensive. It's like living on the ocean in California. Probably the most expensive.
This is the most expensive real estate in America.
Yeah, I mean, and it's Palm Beach. I mean, it's the most expensive area in Florida, there. I mean, it's they have Billionaires Row in New York, and they have a Billionaires Row or a Millionaires Row here. It's in Palm Beach County. It's right on that where Mar-a-Lago is.
Yeah,
plus Mar-a-Lago being there also elevates the value of all the property in the area.
Yeah,
all the homes that are around Mar-a-Lago are probably worth double what they would normally be since Mar-a-Lago's there.
Exactly.
I mean, how many people would buy a house there because of Mar-a-Lago?
Exactly. Confrontations dominated part of Trump's testimony as he discussed the value of Mar-a-Lago and again tore into the people who had brought the case against him. He, that's Trump, focused on Mar-a-Lago, which the financial statements claim was worth upwards of $500 million. The court has decided it was worth as little as $18 million.
That's ridiculous.
Now, Brett Baer, who's on Fox News, just bought a house in Palm Beach. It's very tiny compared to Mar-a-Lago up the street for over $30 million.
$37 million.
Yeah, $37
for like a 5-bedroom house.
So you mean to tell me that Brett Baer from Fox News, his house is worth twice of Mar-a-Lago?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Give me a break. Give me a break.
They hold events at Mar-a-Lago, weddings. Do they have events? Do they have weddings at Brett Baer's house? Does he hold events? Does he have a big enough place to have people come and do weddings and bar mitzvahs and whatever they have at Mar-a-Lago with hundreds and hundreds of people with a big ballroom?
See,
I don't think Brett Baer has a big ballroom.
See, I believe that Mar-a-Lago is priceless, and it's priceless for a few reasons. I'll tell you real quick. One, it is the largest home in Florida that has someone living in it. Pretty significant. It's a classic home. It's the home of a president of the United States. It's on the most expensive piece of real estate in America, Palm Beach Island, where all the super uber rich live. And also, I believe that President Trump is going to make Mar-a-Lago his final resting place. He loves Mar-a-Lago, and I think he's going to make it his final resting place. So make it have it made a national landmark. And if they bury him there, it will always be there. And I think he wants to. I don't know, but I think he will be buried there at Mar-a-Lago to preserve Mar-a-Lago forever.
Before we switch gears, somebody just tweeted, Google's 100% battery electric bus lost power on a hill in San Francisco, fell backwards, and crashed into a bunch of cars.
Oh, my goodness.
These electric vehicles are not, I was watching a video the other day I like to watch a lot of driving videos, of like different areas because I don't really travel too much anymore. And somebody did a video driving through some area in Utah or something where it was like these beautiful, or near the Grand Canyon, I should say, in Arizona, beautiful area. And they were going up, up, up. And I was thinking to myself, how could an electric car do this? Because they were going up, up the mountains and stuff into this area, probably up 10,000 feet. And then when you get there, can you charge? I mean, it goes through the battery. You go through a lot of gas when you do that. And I'm like, there is no way an electric car has the power to do something like this, like gas can. And here you have this prime example of a bus, a larger vehicle, going up a hill. And the hills in San Francisco are not that steep. I've been there. They have hills, but, they're not that steep. It's not a mountain. Going up a hill, and not a very big hill, and it lost power. It just conked out. Now, I don't know why it rolled back. Don't they have a brake or something? Maybe the driver wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, an electric brake.
But see, I don't know if those cars, they obviously let you know when the battery's running low. But I think in a bigger vehicle like that with a lot of people on it, the battery probably depletes so fast that you might not realize what's happening and you might think you can make it. You know what I'm saying? This is going to happen. These electric vehicles are not made to travel the country. The country's too big. It's not like traveling around, Europe where it's much smaller area and maybe an electric vehicle traveling around those countries is more is easier to do. But here, how can you get an electric vehicle and travel across country? The great American road trip that Americans love, that's part of our culture. And how can you go and drive through the Grand Canyon or drive through these places? A bus can't even get around a city. It's just amazing.
You know what it is?
This green stuff's not going to last.
Part of
I bet that bus costs a couple $1 million to get to the city.
Part of the American culture are freedom of the road and big cars.
Absolutely.
We love them both.
Absolutely.
And, today we have a new sponsor on the radio station, which is a classic car museum. And I went there today.
Oh, the cars are just beautiful.
Kathy,
I can't wait to go. Because I like cars like you.
I made a YouTube video, and we'll have that up this week. And you guys see it. And this is these cars belong to one married couple.
Crazy.
All the cars at this museum belong to one.
It's like Jay
couple.
Leno.
Yeah, they're like Jay Leno. It's like Jay Leno's garage.
Yeah.
And I have not seen, a lot of these cars back to the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s. And when we were kids, there'd be some cars on the road from the 60s, but I remember the 70s cars. But I was a little kid then. And I'm looking at these Cadillacs from the 50s and 60s, these Buicks from the 50s and 60s. Yeah, they're beautiful. I didn't realize how big they were.
Oh, yeah. Kathy, I love the 50s cars.
These
the best.
cars are huge. The bumpers are huge. The hoods are huge. The cars are huge. And, back in those days, you didn't have to wear seatbelts. Yeah. Why did you need a seatbelt? How are you going to get hurt in that thing?
Well, I had a friend in high school that had a big car it was a 1956 something, and it was like a really huge car with the seat that goes all the way across, and it was fully like restored, beautiful car. And I don't think there were seatbelts in it, but he said it was made of steel. Yeah. The car was not made of whatever they make cars out of now, fiberglass, whatever. He said this thing's a tank. And that's how they used to make cars back in the 50s before they got cheap with the plastic parts and all this stuff. Everything was like really solid. And you could tell, I love the 50s cars are my favorite.
Well, you know,
They're
when I was at the car museum, we'll get back to the politics, guys. We'll tell you about this. When I was at the car museum, I called Steve Kane, and because these are the cars of his youth.
Yeah.
So I called him up, and I wanted to see. I asked him. I said,
he probably owns something like that.
I said, what kind of car did your dad have growing up?
Yeah.
And he told me I was like, oh, there's one right here. He's like, really?
What did Steve drive?
That's what I said. I said, what was your first car? He said, I had a Mustang the first year they came out.
Wow.
And then he told me his second car.
Too bad he doesn't have that.
You
never know.
Which was another fancy thing. And I said, wow, you had expensive cars. And he says, well, my rich dad was buying cars then. But there were 3 cars there that Steve Kane's dad had owned. Not the exact car, I'm talking about the same model and year. But anyway, back to what we're getting to. You know, President Trump over the weekend in his speech in Orlando at the Faith and Freedom Conference, he was talking about all the people that have been killed around the world because he's not president, because of Joe Biden.
Absolutely.
And, you know, Ukraine, you know, the war in Israel, you know, with the southern, you know, he's going through it all. And it's pretty crazy. But, you know, liberals have gotten so many people killed with their environmental standards. And this is what I mean. People don't talk about this much. Cars today, they have the federal government, because of liberalism and their liberal do-gooderness, have certain fuel requirements. Cars have to get so many miles per gallon. The way that they do that is they lighten the cars. Yep. And these beautiful classic vehicles were all made of steel and beautiful chrome. Now cars are made out of plastic.
Yep.
And the reason cars are made out of plastic is so that they're lighter and use less fuel.
And fiberglass.
Yeah, to make not even that, Kathy. Very little. You'd be surprised how much of modern cars are plastic.
They're really like big tin cans.
Not tin cans. They're plastic. They're like Tupperware. You're driving around in Tupperware, Kathy.
Crazy.
And the reason that people are driving around in Tupperware, it's true, plastic cars, is like the Adobe from Saturday Night Live. Remember that?
The Yugo.
It was a take on that.
Yeah.
But is because liberals have these environmental standards, so to make the cars lighter, they have to make them out of Tupperware plastic.
Right, not to mention all the forest fires for people because they won't let them clean the floor.
Well, the thing with the cars, because they're made out of Tupperware as opposed to steel like the old cars, you're more likely to get hurt or killed in a car crash.
Yep.
Back in the days of these great classic vehicles that I was looking at today at the museum, you didn't get hurt because they were made out of solid steel.
Right.
Today, you get hit. You're driving Tupperware.
So why don't they like steel?
Because
probably some crooked deal somebody made, with a fiberglass or plastics
they're
company.
They're stupid, Kathy, because they want to be able to say that Obama used to talk about this a lot. They want to be able to say that they made cars go farther per gallon, but people are getting killed in cars.
Oh, I see. So it's to save on gas.
It lightens the weight of the car if it's made out of Tupperware. So, but you're more likely to get killed in a car made of plastic than one made of strong, good American steel, like these old cars, even though maybe they didn't get the same gas mileage. And the thing with the electric cars, listen, when the Democrats are out of power, the electric car phase will fade away. It's just not a popular thing.
Are they ever going to be out of power? My goodness.
Oh, yeah, they will.
I think we're all just want to get off this crazy train.
That's for sure. Now, listen, we're going to take our last break. When we get back, there's a lot more to talk about. We've only just begun, and it's been a very busy news day. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be back right after this.
During history's darkest hour, a story of courage and survival emerges. From author Rachel Soren comes the book Escape by Lottery, a survivor's tale, available on Amazon. Escape by Lottery is based in part on the real-life experiences of the author's maternal grandfather, Meyer, a Jew living in Poland who faces persecution and discrimination from the Nazis. His life takes a dramatic turn when he's chosen by lottery to escape the clutches of the Germans. Reuniting with his mother and sister, he embarks on a perilous journey through war-torn Europe, constantly on the run and living in fear. Meyer's journey leads him to Kobe, Japan, where he hopes to start over again, but fate has other plans, forcing him to flee once more, this time to Shanghai, where he must endure life in the Shanghai ghetto, surrounded by poverty, disease, and despair. Yet through it all, Meyer remains resilient, determined to survive, even in the face of unimaginable challenges. Escape by Lottery, a Survivor's Tale is a testament to the human spirit and is your next must-read book. Available on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, Kindle Unlimited, and audiobook. Escape by Lottery, A Survivor's Tale from author Rachel Soren. Order your copy right now on Amazon. Are you a manager or business owner looking to improve your leadership skills and drive success in your company? Then add the book from author J.D. Straz to your must-read list, The Mistakes Managers Make and How Much It Costs Them, available right now on Amazon. In this insightful book filled with actionable advice, the author shares his extensive experiences in the world of business. Whether it's being managed by others, witnessing common mistakes managers make, or his own experience managing a large team, the author developed a unique philosophy of business management. Author J.D. Straz believes that management is all about people. When you read The Mistakes Managers Make and How Much It Costs Them, you'll discover the value of cultivating an educated workforce, allowing your employees to develop their skills and gain a deeper understanding of your business. If you want to be a more effective manager and lead your team to success, The Mistakes Managers Make and How Much It Costs Them is the guide you've been searching for. And for business owners, this book makes a great gift for your management team. Order your copy right now on Amazon. The Mistakes Managers Make and How Much It Costs Them from author J.D. Straz on Amazon. From author L. Falloon comes the epic adventure, The Boy Who Knew Fire. Thomas Kane Series Book 1, available on Amazon. In The Boy Who Knew Fire, meet Thomas. He's an ordinary boy who discovers an extraordinary destiny on his 13th birthday. He's about to become the shepherd, a guardian of the elements, and the key to Earth's future. But there's a catch. The awakening of the new elements is still 5 years away. That is, until an ancient adversary, known as the Null, awakens them prematurely, throwing the world into chaos. Now, Thomas must rise to the challenge and become Earth's most unlikely hero. In a heroic journey that's filled with twists, turns, and unimaginable challenges, he's destined to protect the elements and save the world. Order your copy of this thrilling and heartwarming story of courage, destiny, and the power of unlikely heroes. The Boy Who Knew Fire, Thomas Kane Series Book 1 from author L. Falloon, available on Amazon.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. All right, I want to go through some audio sound bites. These are actually very good and on different subjects, okay? But they're stuff that's in the news right now, and I think they're important to play and talk about them, even though they're kind of unrelated to one another in a large part. The first one is one of my least favorite people to play audio from, Barack Obama. But I want to play it because this is Obama over the weekend, and it's something that I think has to be discussed, and he's really a twisted person, and we're very lucky that he's no longer
I think he's
the president. Even
but he's pulling a lot of strings behind the scenes, I promise you.
He's pulling all the strings behind Biden.
He is. So I think he's even, that's scarier because he's doing so many things secretly and he's
it's
not
illegal.
Taking any heat.
It's illegal.
Yeah.
He has no authority. He's not supposed to have authority. It's illegal. So anyway, he's talking about the Israeli-Palestinian war.
If you want to solve the problem,
let me tell you, Obama's been out of the scene for a long time, and so I kind of forgotten a lot of his little negative things that really ticked me off. This thing of how he talks so slowly with these beats and the pauses so that you hear every syllable and ponder the greatness of every utterance out of his mouth, the arrogance,
If you want to solve the problem.
If you want to solve the problem. I can't stand Obama.
I know.
If you want to solve the problem, then you have to take in the whole truth. And you then have to admit nobody's hands are clean.
Okay, nobody's hands are clean. The Palestinians, Hamas, went into Israel, raped women, murdered them, raped them and kidnapped them, murdered people, murdered children, did terrible things. And there's no apologies that need to be made by Israel for anything. There's a lot of pressure being put on Israel to agree to a ceasefire with the Palestinians. So let me get this straight. The Palestinians get to invade Israel, rape, murder, and kidnap people. And then when Israel starts to respond, oh, okay, ceasefire?
Well, clearly Obama thinks that what the Palestinians did was justified.
That's exactly right, Kathy.
That's what he's
he
basically
thinks
saying.
Obama, that's exactly what he's saying.
Kidnapping and raping, they were
driven to do it.
Just like when 9/11 happened, I'm sure he was one of the people, I don't know where he was when that happened, that thought that we deserved it.
That's exactly right. Now, this next clip is Mayor Pete, and I wanted to play this over the weekend, and I just never got to it. He's talking about our great Speaker of the House, MAGA Mike Johnson.
I will admit it's a little bit difficult driving the family minivan to drop our kids off at daycare, passing the dome of a Capitol, knowing that the Speaker of the House sitting under that dome doesn't even think our family ought to exist. If being gay was a choice, that was a choice that was made way above my pay grade. But my lifestyle is that I'm a dad. I'm a married father of two, a beautiful boy and girl, twins, 2 years old. And our family deserves to be protected. It deserves to be supported, just like every American family.
Okay, now, I've never heard Mike Johnson say that gay families should not exist.
No.
Now,
first of all, nobody's there's no reason for him to feel unsafe driving by, because Mike, this whole thing of the liberals forcing you to respect them and forcing you to agree with what they do and how they live. You can think and do whatever you want. He's not oppressing anybody. He's not passing any laws that keep him from marrying who he wants or anything like that. This is more, just boogeyman, and more of the rhetoric of how people on the right are dangerous and oppressive. We live in a world now of oppressors and the oppressed. Yeah. Apparently, you're one or the other, which is ridiculous. I'm not one. You're not one. But that's the way they want you to think. And according to him, he's a victim. And Mike Johnson is the oppressor. It's absurd. I mean, it has not interrupted his life one bit. It's all in his mind.
In fact, he's better by it from his own angle, because now he's making himself a victim. There's somebody that doesn't approve of him.
Well, that's what they live for.
So he's got something now that he can do. And I got news for you. It's no big deal to be gay today. I mean,
it's like, who cares?
Steve Kane had mentioned Neil Rogers today. He was the number one guy in radio in the 80s and 90s in Miami. And he was on the radio in Miami in the 70s. He came out as gay in the 70s on the radio. He came out as gay on the radio in the 70s. And it wasn't a cool thing to do then like it is now. Like, oh, he's gay. Oh, good. People get all excited. He did it when it wasn't popular. Mayor Pete is virtue signaling. There's no risk. No one cares. Exactly. It's not new. It's. I always tell you this, guys, that it's more shocking when some kid comes out of the closet as straight than if they're gay today. That's not,
him coming out, Mike Johnson didn't come out and when he got elected and make some speech against Buttigieg and his lifestyle. But, he didn't come out and make some kind of statement about that. But Buttigieg immediately attacks him. Yeah. For his beliefs.
I had Dick Morris on the radio this morning, and Dick Morris had the worst phone connection I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, it was bad.
But I didn't care. But I made him laugh. I gave him a good joke, and because the phone connection was so bad, I don't know if you guys heard. Did you hear this? And Dick Morris may use this joke I gave him. He's on a book tour now. He's got a book out about Joe Biden's dark money. And when I introduced him, I said, Dick, if you wrote I did the title of the book, Joe Biden's Dark Money. And I said, Dick Morris, if you wrote a book about Joe Biden's money that wasn't dark, it'd be more like a pamphlet than a book.
Exactly.
His clean money. He started laughing. He's like, that's a good one. I was like, well, you could use it, Dick Morris. But, okay, so this next clip, this is Byron Donalds. This was at the Faith and Freedom Conference over the weekend, and he's talking about Joe Biden.
Can you just bring Trump back? That's what they're saying. RPOF, that's what they're saying. So when I get people like Roland Martin who go to Twitter and say, oh, I'm lying on Maria Bartiromo, I giggle and I laugh because I know better. What I know is is that the radical left thinks that everybody's just going to fall in line. But Joe Biden has been so bad as the 46th president of the United States that a lot of voters who aren't really Republican voters are going to vote to make Donald Trump the 47th president of the United States. I've never seen anybody get a check from their brother for $200,000. You know, I mean, look, I love my brothers. I do. They've not given me a check for $10. So I know we always talk about, well, are you going to hold them accountable? What are you going to do about it, Byron? I'm telling you, we are very, very close, in my view, to having articles of impeachment on Joe Biden.
Now, next to Trump, Byron Donalds was the only speech I think worth watching. Who wanted to watch DeSantis or Casey DeSantis or Chris Christie or any of those jokers? You know, Byron Donalds
He's
is pretty.
awesome.
Well, you know, I saw him speak at Turning Point in Palm Beach, and I was up pretty close to him. He's pretty cool. He's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And
Now, is he tall or what's his height?
He was, I don't know, because I was next to the stage and he was on it, so I couldn't judge it. That's how DeSantis passed my notice for so
But I
long.
promise you, he doesn't wear lifts.
No high heels.
No.
I got a new name for DeSantis I came up with today. Kinky Boots.
I love it.
Kinky Boots
That's
DeSantis.
perfect. That's perfect. Wouldn't it be funny if Trump called him that? That would be really good.
Oh, my goodness. I'm going to miss DeSantis when he drops out of this race because there's so much about him.
Him and Chris Christie still think they're going to win.
Yeah, they do.
They go on TV every day saying they're going to win
Nikki Haley.
this.
And Nikki.
Yeah.
You know, I was listening to someone, they were about to introduce Nikki Haley about something going on, and they said, we're looking forward to speaking with Nikki Haley so she can share her expertise as a UN ambassador. And I'm thinking, what did she do as ambassador to the UN that she wasn't even there that long, but what did she do that's historically significant or significant at all?
Well, she removed the Confederate flags. I mean, is that
That's when she was governor of South Carolina.
Right. That's all I know her
After
for.
she was running, promising she would defend the Confederate flag, when she became governor, she took it down.
Yeah.
And I've never trusted her since. Never trusted her since. Now, I want to tell you guys, right next to where Kathy and I are sitting here in the podcast studio, in our home studio, is a bunch of boxes that are filled with Mighty MAGA Lions that are going to be mailed out today that you guys ordered throughout this day. And when the show's over, I'm going to go to the post office and mail these Mighty MAGA Lions today. The Mighty MAGA Lion is a very hot Christmas item, and we had them all made in advance. This is not a drop ship item. I highlight that because I want you guys to know these are very limited edition. We had them all made in advance, and when they're gone, they are gone.
I had an idea. My mom stopped by, and she just loves the lion, and she lives in a retirement condo area. She's 81, and I said to her, mention it to your friends. A lot of older people live there. If they like Trump, they can order one. She said, none of them have computers.
Oh.
She said you'd be very surprised.
Yeah.
So if you know somebody who's older, who does not have a computer where they can go on and order this, and they would love it, get it for them. You know what I mean? They would really appreciate it. And because a lot of these older people, she said you'd really be shocked. They just don't have computers anymore. They're not online. They're not this. So if you have somebody, a parent or an aunt or uncle, grandparent that's older that loves Trump, get this for them for Christmas.
Yeah.
They will absolutely, or Hanukkah, or just because, or a birthday, and they will be so excited. Trust me, they'll love it. It's adorable.
Yeah, and you can order yours at MightyMagaLion.com. And if you order more than one, you get a discount.
You get a bit of a discount.
Yeah. But,
and a lot of people are doing that.
Yes.
They're taking advantage of that.
Yeah, and if you go to MightyMagaLion.com, you can order yours. This is a very hot item. I mean, I knew they would be popular, but I am going to the post office so much with so many at a time.
Yep.
The people that work at the post office, they now know me.
They know you by your first name.
Now they're liberal, and they don't know what's in the boxes.
Yeah, that if they knew that, then they might not be so happy.
They might not be so friendly. One of the women that works at our local post office, she wears this big tag. She's the union steward for the Postal Workers Union. She doesn't know she's been handling all these Mighty MAGA Lions.
If she did, they would not meet their destination. No,
I don't
I'm just kidding. I'm sure they take their job seriously.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, but but they know me by name now, and when I walk in, they're in fact, I'll tell you, they even help me get into the post office sometimes when I go there because I have so many.
Little do they know,
and that's how much these are selling. They are selling like hotcakes. And the Mighty Maga Lion, if you haven't seen it yet, I show it a lot on YouTube. Go to our website, mightymagalion.com. You'll see the Mighty Maga Lion right there.
It's the only one I've seen. Like you got the Trumpy bear. You have the other. Even Trump has a bear on his website, the Trumpinator. I looked. None of them have the hat, which I was really surprised. I didn't know that going into this. Even on Trump's own website, he's got a cute little bear, but there's no MAGA hat. Mm-hmm. And this is the only one that's a lion. That's lion. Right. Everybody's got a teddy bear. Teddy bears are cute.
With no MAGA hat.
But this is a lion with a blonde yellow mane, like Trump's hair, and the hat. And that's what makes it so special and so unique. And you can only get it through us. That's it. We're the only ones selling this.
That's right. MightyMagaLion.com. Order yours. It's a great gift for yourself, your significant other, your kids, your grandkids. A great gift for coworkers if they're MAGA.
Absolutely.
Go to MightyMagaLion.com and order yours. Well, listen, we're out of time for today. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We will talk to you next.